The main topic of the third module of the Rebirth Academy is emotions. In the first part of this module, we will start with the subject of breathing, because this is the bridge that connects energy and emotions. Breathing is also the key to sexuality and plays an important part in physical and mental health. But for what else is breathing so important? Well, it is your direct connection to life itself. Without breath, there is no life. Your body can stay alive without food and water for a while, but if you lose this essential connection, you die almost instantly. The Bible says the following in Genesis about life and breath. And God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Don't think for a second that you are a separate being. Your body is made of the food you eat and the water you drink. Your energy comes from cosmic energy, and you breathe the same air as everybody else. Ultimately, your consciousness is also just an aspect of the cosmic consciousness. When you peel away all these layers, nothing remains there. Conscious breathing is one tool to get to that space. You are certainly aware that scientifically, breathing is the process that moves air in and out of the lungs and the whole body. Most of the air contains nitrogen, but the useful part for us is actually oxygen. Every cell of the body desperately needs oxygen for its chemical processes and to get rid of carbon dioxide. After the gas exchange happened in the lungs, the oxygen molecules attach themselves to blood cells. Once these dissolved gases are in the blood, the heart powers their flow around the body via the circulatory system. The lungs look exactly like trees turned upside down, and their function is also just the opposite. Trees breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. The world of plants and the animal kingdom perfectly complement each other. However, humans are the only species that can control their breathing voluntarily. This ability was not given to us by chance, so we should use it to our advantage. There are two different ancient traditions that use conscious breathing but in opposite ways. The first one is the yogic tradition, which teaches us how to control breath to gain physical and mental health. The other tradition is Tantra, which doesn't want to control breathing at all. It simply teaches us how to be aware of it and become more conscious through it. The ultimate goal of both traditions is spiritual enlightenment, and breathing is an important tool for both. I will give examples to each type, but I consider the Tantric tradition more relevant to immortology, and its approach more aligned with my teachings. Yoga is built on control and suppression, while the basis of Tantra is acceptance and relaxation. There are two distinct types of human breathing: moving either your abdomen or your chest. Of course, in both cases, the air moves into the lungs, but this movement is caused by the contraction and release of different muscles. One important muscle in the breathing process is called the diaphragm, a domed muscle that separates the lungs from the abdomen. During belly breathing, the abdominal muscles are relaxed. The diaphragm moves downwards and flattens during inhalation, and your belly moves outwards. When the diaphragm relaxes, air leaves largely by the elasticity of the lungs. This is a quiet, relaxed type of breathing, needing little energy, but resulting in deep breaths. If you observe babies, they all breathe through their stomach, which is very flexible. In the second type of breathing, the abdominal area doesn't move at all because the muscles are tight. The increased abdominal pressure then tilts the diaphragm and rib cage upwards with an increase in volume and the entry of air. Expiration follows with the relaxation of the diaphragm and the abdominal muscles. This can also be called chest breathing because the chest moves in and out. The second mode of breathing usually means more shallow breaths because the abdomens and the diaphragm are much more flexible than the rib cage, so more energy is needed for its movement. However, the body also gets more energy through this technique because more air can be accumulated in less time. Chest breathing is normally used during traumatic experiences or physical exercise. When you are under threat, your belly muscles tighten, which forces air up to generate extra energy we may need to fight or flight. This also signals the body to send more adrenaline. Deep muscles in the pelvis also tighten to protect the lower areas of the body. Energy flows from the periphery to the center of the body. When muscles are tight, we feel less pain. The body automatically wants to block the sensitivity of our sensitive areas. In animals, the normal breathing pattern and muscle tension return immediately after the threat is gone. But humans remember and foresee the threat even when it is not there. We are under constant stress and anxiety, and the second type of breathing has become the norm. In medical literature, it is called chronic hyperventilation. You unconsciously restrict your own breathing, as if you were sipping through a straw. You keep your abdominal muscles tight all the time, so the diaphragm cannot move up and down. This constant shallow breathing causes many diseases because your organs do not get enough life-supporting oxygen. 4 out of 5 people have this problem, and you can easily decide whether you are one of them or not. Just observe your normal breathing pattern and see whether your belly or your chest moves more. Besides, not only do the thoughts influence the body, but the body affects the thoughts too. When we take shallow breaths, it also causes fearful thoughts. This is a vicious circle, a self-reinforcing pattern. It is easier to break it starting with the body because we can control it easier. As I mentioned before, the human emotional center, the sacral chakra, is located below the navel. This is why you feel a grip in your belly when a fearful situation comes up. Expressions like gut feeling and having butterflies in the stomach also suggest this connection. Recently, scientists discovered that this area and the brain are connected directly through a nerve system. When you feel a negative emotion, it always has a physical manifestation. Your blood pressure may rise, you can start to sweat, and various hormones get released in your body. But most importantly, your stomach is usually affected. You instinctively want to avoid negative emotions, and the easiest way to do it is to numb your body to them. This means that you tighten your belly muscles unconsciously, which makes you insensitive to these emotions. This causes your breathing to become shallow because your diaphragm cannot move up and down freely. Tightening your lower muscles not only protects you physically, but emotionally as well. As you suppress most of your negative emotions, the only way to avoid them now is to breathe this way. However, shallow breathing has serious consequences besides the various health issues. You become insensitive not only to negative, but to positive emotions as well. When you numb yourself emotionally, you numb yourself in general. You cannot be selective. By avoiding pain, you avoid pleasure too. This includes joyful emotions, sexual pleasures, and activities that you would normally do just for fun. You become similar to a tough soldier, unable to enjoy the moments of your life. Shallow breathing also decreases your sensitivity in general. You literally prohibit your physical senses to take in input from the outside world because you want to unconsciously defend yourself from any threat. It is not that your senses stop to work, simply the ability of your brain to process the incoming information decreases. Being defensive also gives you a hard time relating to other people and being empathetic and understanding of their needs. When the emotional connection between two people is broken, their auras cannot mingle and meet, and they remain separated energetically. When a friend tells you that you act like a stranger, this is probably what your friend means. Shallow breathing is the number one reason women are frigid or cannot reach orgasm. They don't permit themselves to feel sensuality and pleasure because they have a negative emotion attached to it. They don't want to open themselves up because they subconsciously know that pain is waiting for them underneath the thick layer of the defense mechanism. They choose not to feel anything at all, and then they wonder why they are frustrated. Some people have shallow breathing because they feel shame when they become sexually aroused. In their minds, sexuality is attached to guilt, and they want to hide it from others. When you are in a sexual act, either with your partner or alone, and somebody suddenly enters the room, the first thing that happens is that your breath stops. You gasp, take a shallow breath, and your belly muscles tighten. In contrast, when you are at the top of orgasm, you let go of all the air in your body and breathe out with the sound of ah. This sound is the sign of relaxation, of letting go not only of air, but all the guilt, tension, accumulated energy, and suppressed emotions as well. You have to relearn the art of letting in and letting out air. And this will transform your whole emotional and sexual life. You have to start breathing from your belly like you were normally supposed to. First, practice breathing the wrong way, so you will know the difference. Put your hands on your chest and feel it moving in and out. Observe how much energy you need to breathe this way and how wasteful it is. Later, put your hands on your belly and relax your abdomen. Feel your belly moving in and out, and observe how your chest almost doesn't move at all. Notice how much easier it is to take long, deep breaths this way. If you do just a couple belly breaths, you become calm and relaxed instantly. You can use this small trick in your everyday life when you become angry or agitated. You have been avoiding your sexual and emotional center through shallow breathing so far. Now, you have to face any pain, shame, guilt, and negative emotion you might find there. You can look at these as toxic waste material that you have to clear now with deep breathing through your belly. Deliberately place your consciousness into your navel. Focus on it, explore it, be it. After a couple of slow and deep breaths, you may feel a tingling sensation, a certain kind of warmth, and even sexual arousal. This is a good sign. Don't be afraid of it. Touch your emotional center from within. Observe the quality of energy in this area. Some yogis call this sensation tumo, or the inner fire. Fire up your senses, your sensuality, and your sensitivity by going deep within through your breaths. Deep breathing can not only increase sexual pleasure, but it can also transform it as well. Sexual transmutation is the art and practice of converting the sexual energy into creativity. This potent creative power can manifest itself on the higher levels of your being if you transmute it. Many artists have known this process by using sex and romance as their muses to create different forms of art. You can also try sexual transmutation the next time you feel aroused. It is best to start alone, and later you can experiment with your partner. When you feel that energy accumulated in your sexual center, start to breathe slowly and deeply. Sexual tension is connected to quick and shallow breathing, and you need to do just the opposite for relaxation. The energy won't go away. Sexuality will spread all over your body. From focused, it becomes dispersed, and your whole being melts into it. Remember to take slow and deep breaths, almost as if sucking up energy from the lower to the higher centers. You usually let sexual energy escape from your body by ejaculation. But this time, stop just before the orgasm and start this special breathing technique. The essence is to stay on the plateau as long as you can, just before the point of orgasm. Instead of bursting out in orgasm, you relax into it. This method fills you with an incredible amount of energy and gives you a good night's sleep too. Whether you move your belly or your chest, Whether your breathing is conscious or unconscious, you always use your muscles for inhalation, while exhalation happens automatically. This is one of the reasons you put more emphasis on breathing in than on breathing out. Only very rarely do you exhale forcibly, for which you have to push in your belly in a quick and sudden movement. The truth is that you are afraid to let go of air. If it was up to you, you wouldn't breathe out at all. You would keep all the air to yourself. This is because you associate breathing in with life and breathing out with death. All your life, you keep on accumulating things, but in the end, you lose it all. Certainly, you cannot breathe in again without breathing out first, so you reluctantly accept exhalation. You have to understand that breathing is a natural cycle, just like life and death. All the things you cannot let go of become toxic. Air becomes toxic in your body as it fills you with carbon dioxide. Your relationship becomes toxic if you cannot let go of your partner, but you know you should. Your possessions start to possess you if you want to keep them to yourself forever. Life itself becomes toxic if you cannot accept death. You have to learn the art of letting go, and the easiest place to start is your breath. You do it all the time anyway, even when you are asleep. Yes, breathing in is life, and breathing out is death. Remember this, and accept it. Just be a little more conscious and become more aware of exhalation. Concentrating on breathing out rather than breathing in will enhance this process. Sex and death. These are the two poles of life. They are also the two major taboos that everybody is reluctant to speak about. With each inhalation, you connect yourself to sex, and with each exhalation, to death. In every breathing cycle, you can touch the two poles of life. You die and get reborn every minute through your breaths. The problem is that you don't want to touch the two poles. You don't want to go to the extremes. You want to stay in the middle because it gives you the illusion of comfort and security. You are scared both to die and to truly live, so you are afraid to really breathe. You fear the unknown depths of life, so you also fear to take deep breaths. What you may not know yet is that exhalation is equal to relaxation, and death is the ultimate relaxation. If you think about it, it is natural. Whenever something joyful happens, you also say, "Ah," because you become relaxed. So, whenever you want to relax, you breathe out with the sound of "ah," as if inviting death. All the time, your mind is full of problems, and you are full of tension. When it is too much, you want to go to the other pole, because the burden of life has become too heavy. In joyful moments, this tension disappears completely, because your mind stops for a moment. Of course, it comes back almost immediately. Because your mind thrives on tension, it cannot exist without problems. Relaxation happens in those rare moments when your mind ceases to exist. The whole pleasure is caused by the death of the mind, by getting into a silent, thoughtless, deathless space of your being. Always remember that inhalation is tension and exhalation is relaxation. So, practice becoming aware of breathing out deeply, emptying even the last bit of air from your system. For a couple of cycles, make exhalation voluntary and let inhalation become automatic. Forget inhalation completely. Focus only on letting go of air. With this simple exercise, your whole attitude will change towards life and death. There is one more practice worth mentioning at this point. Instead of focusing on exhalation, start concentrating on the gap between your breaths, specifically after breathing out. Make conscious pauses and slow down your breathing even more. You can start with 3-second gaps, then go up to 10, and increase them as long as it feels comfortable without straining yourself. When your lungs are totally empty, embrace this emptiness in your whole being. Allow life to leave your body. Let go of air completely for a few moments. You may notice that your thoughts also stop when you stop your breathing because they are deeply interconnected, Every time you are suddenly surprised, your thoughts stop and breaths stop too. The same result can be achieved by approaching from the opposite direction, your breaths. After going through the breathing exercises connected to sexuality and death, let's look at a yogic method that connects energy with breath. It is called chakra breathing, and it is one of the most basic breathing techniques in energy healing. There are actually many forms of chakra breathing, and each can be beneficial. This particular version was taught to me by a master energy healer in India, and I practiced it for a month continuously. It fills you up with an incredible amount of energy that lasts for the whole day. It focuses on the emotional center, and it clears all your negative emotions, so you can have a general feeling of positivity. The best time to do it is right after waking up, before eating anything, and after drinking just a cup of water. If you can, face the rising sun, and make sure to let in fresh air into your room, because you will need it. Sit down in your favorite meditation posture with your spine straight. Breathing into your belly will be much easier this way. It will come almost on its own. Take 3 deep breaths into your stomach through your nose and breathe out the air through your mouth for warming up. Face the sun, but close your eyes and feel its warmth and energy on your skin. A new day comes, and the sun wakes up the whole world, along with the energy inside your body. As the sun is reborn, so are you. In this version of the chakra breathing, you will concentrate on your sacral chakra almost all the time. This is the energy and emotional center of the body, and you are going to clear it and refresh it. Keep your attention on this chakra and breathe through it directly. Of course, physically, it cannot breathe, but imagine the energy moving in and out through this center. When you exhale, imagine dark, heavy energy moving out and bright, light energy entering when you inhale. It is important to do belly breathing, or in other words, moving your stomach instead of your chest while you are doing this. You have to focus your whole attention on your navel and just relax and be aware of what is happening there. The breathing technique is actually very simple. Inhale, pause, exhale, and then pause again for 8 seconds each. So one full cycle lasts 32 seconds, and then it restarts. Count the seconds in your mind and don't rush. Make the breaths as deep as possible. This method is not about the awareness of breath, but still, remain sensitive of the movement of energy and feel as it refreshes your system. Breathe through your second chakra for 25 minutes and then go through all your chakras from bottom to top. Imagine the energy moving through your root chakra for 2 cycles, and do this for each chakra one by one. After you finished with your last chakra on the top, repeat the warm-up exercise that you started with. Take 3 deep breaths without pausing and exhale through your mouth. Open your eyes slowly and feel your whole body bursting with clean and fresh energy. We have gone through some techniques that use slow and deep breathing, some with and some without gaps. But what would happen if your breathing was fast, deep, and continuous at the same time? Well, with this simple method, you can actually get into a non-ordinary state of consciousness where profound emotional self-healing can happen automatically. This special technique was rediscovered by Stanislav Grof, and he named it holotropic breathing. He used to be a lead researcher in LSD psychotherapy, but when the government started to make this drug illegal, he had to search for a substitute. He wanted a legal method that could cause similar mystical experiences through an altered state of consciousness. Eventually, he found it in the form of this surprisingly simple yet effective mode of breathing. One holotropic session lasts for 2 to 3 hours, and it is always accompanied by soothing music. Initially, they play loud and fast rhythms centered on drums and pulsing beats, and the music gets softer and more silent and melodic towards the end of the therapy. The music serves not only to make the experience more dramatic, but to help your body move as well. You are lying on the floor all the time with your eyes closed, but still you are dancing with your whole body. They suggest you pull your legs up and bend your knees to let the dance come on its own and to let your instinctual beat-following reflex kick in. However, the most important instruction is to take full deep breaths into your stomach as quickly as you can without gaps. Your system is not used to such kind of heavy breathing, so it will get tired quite quickly, but you have to continue despite its hardness. You have to push your limits here, otherwise, you will never break through to the space where healing can happen. In fact, you can break through your repressed emotions through this breathing, and processing them becomes possible for the first time. You can start a session with one emotional block you have in mind and try to work your way through it. The essence is to be able to actually feel your emotion instead of just thinking about it. Being in this special state of mind makes this easier. After you have gone through the initial emotion, you may find another one behind it. You can face and process all your emotional blocks one after the other, and you can feel reborn after just one session. Holotropic breathing is almost like communicating with your subconscious in a safe and controllable environment, unlike with LSD or other psychoactive substances. This therapy is an important tool for feeling your emotions and freeing yourself from them. If you want to try a full holotropic session, it is recommended that you find a certified facilitator in your local area. I created a short introduction to it in my Emerging Energy meditation, which you should definitely listen to this week.